Join me, Michael Mercer, retired law enforcement officer and Navy veteran with over 35 years of experience in crime prevention. Most importantly, I'm a Christian husband and father. My mission is to bring hope through my experiences. Faith brings hope. Hope leads to inspiration that turns into motivation. Hi, and welcome to the Christmas show of Freedom from Fear, the podcast. And I think this is so appropriate to have Amanda on for our Christmas show. Christmas in Ireland. How beautiful does that sound? It just sounds like it sounds like a John Wayne movie, and I think I've seen that one called the Quiet Man. And so, but I want to welcome Amanda Coleman, the Irish Angel, Blue Irish Angel, to the podcast. We met probably about 6 months ago via Instagram and online, but we met in person. Connie and I did last month in October, end of October, at the Wounded Blue Brothers in Blue Bash and Sisters in Blue Bash, and it was a great time. So it was amazing to meet Amanda and what she's doing, and we just love what she's doing. So I'm going to introduce you to Amanda. She loves it. Her mission really is to support law enforcement officers, first responders, and she's doing it worldwide. I mean, she's doing it from across the pond in Ireland, and I've never seen anybody like, and I'll let you speak in a minute, Amanda, but I've never seen anybody organize something so well that is literally 3,000 miles away, in another country, and you're able to mobilize cops who are hard to mobilize in the first place. So welcome to the show, Amanda. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why this mission is so important to you.
Thanks for having me on. This mission is so important just for a number of things, like going back to when it all started and how mental health and addictions and PTS affected my own personal life through my family, and being a child of the way that lifestyle is. So it was extremely difficult. So when I learned about what was going on in America about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago now, it really bothered me. Meaning the war on police officers, and taking like a family in law enforcement here. And they were like, America is absolutely crazy right now for law enforcement. You need to go online and see what's happening. And I was taken aback by watching officers being shot in their cars, being ambushed. It was just horrific. And then seeing something really beautiful out of something that was so horrible was the Sea of Blue. It was like this massive coming together, not just from a state or a community. It was from the whole of the US. Officers would come from all over to honor their brothers and sisters. And it kind of grew from there. It was a support. I literally went on LinkedIn and started to post messages of support. And over time, like I'd say about 2 weeks, I was inundated with messages from other agencies thanking me for what I was doing. And I had no clue of the impact that, to me, I was just posting posts and wanted to show support. I was from a different country. I didn't think that it was ever going to have any impact on the United States. And how wrong was I? Thankfully, Irish Angel was growing through that, and Irish Angel actually is a call sign that was given to me by HRT Ofcon 1, a SWAT team, and they gave me the honorary call sign Irish Angel, and I turned it into a website that cops could go and first responders and veterans and talk to each other in a free dialect, that there was no threat to them, because you're seeing the hatred towards them online. So this was a username and password sort of thing. And we all just chit chatted. And in doing that, I soon noticed how bad things was within the services, mentally, physically, everything. And knowing what that's like from just a normal everyday standpoint, it really upset me, bothered me, and I wanted to do something to help. I was getting all this attention through social media, and I was like, well, if I'm getting all this attention through social media, why don't we turn it into something that's positive and good that we can help, right? I'm no expert, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to do something to help, because you guys embraced me into the family, which was extremely unusual because I am an outsider. I'm not just an outsider of law enforcement or the services. I'm an outsider from another country. So I'm very honored and privileged to have that, to be allowed into that community. And yeah, I got together with the sheriff in Schenectady and we founded Irish Angel. We turned it into a nonprofit that was going to not just help morally, but financially as well. So, and educate as well. And as it's grown, it's flourishing now, and everything is coming into fruition. And 2020 is looking pretty good for Irish Angel.
It really is, and the connection that you're making, you're getting sponsorship from Emerald societies, and a lot of the fraternal organizations here in the United States are really taking a hold and seeing, first of all, that you have a great heart. Like you said, cops are hard to crack, right? They're hard to bring people in, but we also know when there's a good heart. We also know when there's a good soul, among us, and you certainly have that. It's evident in everything that you've done, and it's certainly evident after meeting you. So, what you're doing is fantastic. But a lot of the things that you are, what kind of correspond with me is officer involved injuries, PTSD, some of the research and some of the funding that goes along with that for that support. That all is very expensive, and what you're doing is really kind of bringing those resources together to be utilized. And I'm really seeing this in the support for law enforcement is out there, but it's so splintered, and you have so many different groups that want to help, but they can't get the traction to help. They can't either get the funding to do the best that they can, so they get eaten up, they get discouraged, and they go away. And that has happened with so many nonprofits and charities, especially when it comes to helping vets and helping cops and trying to, like Blue Wives Matter. I mean, they struggle every day to try to put gifts under the tree for families who've lost their father or mother throughout the year. So it's very hard to find funding, and to enter this whole arena and to build it the way you have is excellent. I mean, you brought in the resources that you see. I mean, working with Randy and the Wounded Blue, you probably can't get a better organization than that. And I love those guys over there. They just Randy is a friend, and he's done amazing work. And so. And I think 2022 is just going to be amazing. So what are your vision as to where Irish Angel's going? It's so far it's great, but you've got a new website launching the first of the year,
We do.
and you've got a bunch of cool stuff happening there. You want to tell the audience about that?
Yeah, so the website is basically going to be nearly like a one-stop shop for PTS, addictions, and mental health, and the supporters to understand as well what goes on within those whole issues. It's about education. So we're not doctors by no stretch of the imagination or anything like that, but we do have people coming on and sharing their experiences who have come out the other side. And that we find that so important, right? Because people might say everybody's got a story or whatever. That's true. Everybody does have a story. But the issues is cops in particular, and veterans, they're a breed of their own in a nice way. They relate solely to those within the services. So to have someone, if a doctor just came on and started talking all their spiel, they'd lose interest, right? They'd lose interest straight away. In actual fact, that's partly why we prolonged the launch of the website, because we had some input from doctors and we put up the script, and I was like, no, this does not relate to cops or first responders or veterans. It does not speak their language. So we stripped it all back and we redid it again. And most of the board of Irish Angel and our advisors, they're all service people. Like, so it's not that I don't know what I'm talking about. These guys know what they're talking about. And so that's what we did. We stripped it back and we're speaking to officers in their language and first responders and veterans, because it holds their attention. We mainly want their stories to resonate with people. And we have yours as well, which will be on there, which I'm looking forward to. but we want people to read them and tick boxes, say, that's an emotion that I feel. This is what, oh my God, this is what's happening to me. Then we have the resources available and the outreach, like we can reach out to people straight away. If someone contacts us and they're in crisis, we can get them seen to straight away. We can put them in contact with the right people. So we have amazing organizations that's working with us to be able to offer that almost instant resource for them, which is so important because there's a tiny window for that someone reaching out for help versus somebody on the edge, right? So you have to act within that short space of time. So that there's the resource end of it. And then we're focusing on the maintaining of the recovery, meaning your health, fitness, nutrition, your mindfulness, all this kind of good stuff. And we're very blessed because on our advisory board, we actually have a doctor. He is two doctors, actually. One is he's a cardiologist and a lieutenant. So he knows all about stress management. He knows all about how it affects your body physically, and all that kind of your nutrition, everything. So he's going to be coming on and doing some stuff. And again, he can relate to them because he speaks in their language.
Right.
We also have a psychologist who is also a police officer. So, I mean, like, where everyone who is intertwined with Irish Angel has the experience and has the knowledge of either going through that experience and coming out the other side, or being in the force, just being able to relay to those their brothers and sisters.
Well, you hit the nail right on the head right there. You got to be able to relate to cops, and you understand that, and you get that completely, because if you're not, when cops want to go for help, when it's gotten to the point where they're saying, "Oh my God, I need help," typically it's because they're in trouble at work, or they're in trouble at home. Those, we get to the point where we don't look for help until it's too late. Usually we're pushed into help. We very rarely voluntarily go get help. And most of the time we're forced into that because of circumstances that we put ourselves into. And so understanding that is key, is to knowing and bringing people in front of other cops who have been cops, who have done it before. And that's what you're doing. Like, I'm not a doctor, but you know what? I know how to go from A to B because I've done that. I've done what it took, and you've assembled those people together, and you've got to talk the cops' language, because if you cop may go to a therapist, and let me take me for example. So I'm having some problem at home. Maybe I'm drinking a little bit too much. I go see a psychiatrist. They don't get it. They don't understand what I just saw last week. They have no idea, the kinds of sleep deprivation that I've been under. They just don't understand what cops see. So I get discouraged, and I let it sag a couple of months, and I say, geez, it's not getting any better. Maybe I should go see someone who might understand. So I go to another doctor a year later, and I get the same thing from them. They just don't understand where I'm coming from. And I don't, and at the time I didn't understand it, because I said, hey man, these people are doctors. They should know what's wrong with me. Right. But it gets discouraging when you keep going to look for help. You figure out you're a cop, that your troubles are far too bigger than any regular, run of the mill counselor can handle. Family counselor. So at that point we start isolating, and that's the worst thing you can do. So if you can get the officer immediately help, if you have that network, a support system that's available for that officer at the end of a phone call, at the end of a line, that is key, Amanda. You found it. That's key. And being able to relate. I want someone to come to me and say, Mike, I saw the same thing. I did the same thing. I was involved in the same type of shooting. I know it's not your fault, and then be able to work through that. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to hear anything from a psychiatrist who's never even, cut his finger. So good job. You got the formula right. So that's excellent. And that's the key, because so many people, so many agencies out there are missing the ball on that. They're striking out. So
Yeah, that's the, from doing this, from running the support network for so long and talking to so many people who has been in it, and just talking in general, you you soon come to the reality that, you know, they will only talk to cops. Yes, you can go into a psychologist's office or psychiatrist's office and you can sit there, and the majority of the time it's going to take hours upon hours upon hours for them to break down that barrier to actually speak. Sometimes
Right.
they go in and they just sit there, they don't say anything because they don't feel like they can relate to this person. This person doesn't understand the trauma behind it all, because the thing about trauma within the services is it's not just one isolated incident. Yes, it can be, but with what they see constantly, it triggers after trigger after trigger after trigger, and it's like an onion. You keep peeling back the layers on it, right? And you could be peeling forever till you get to the heart of the issue. But it's, if you have somebody who understands that and has the patience and the experience to know firsthand what they see, is such a, it's already breaking down that stigma. It's already, you're already crumbling that wall. And the good thing about a lot of the resources that we have available is, even though they're phenomenal healthcare places, the people that head up the law enforcement, first responders, and the veterans end of things are former law enforcement. So that's great thinking in and around these organizations. Starting this was to get people in who knew exactly what they were talking about and knew exactly what that person who was calling was experiencing, and then finding the best resource for them available. So yeah, that's it's such, it plays such a fundamental part in getting them the help they need, and being able to talk and understand, you know.
What have you found, peer support and getting people into the department, being able to talk to people there, is that something that you're working on as well? Is work developing peer support networks? Is that what
We
you're?
are at the minute, yeah. It's a mammoth task, obviously, because we don't just represent one state; we represent the whole country.
Right.
But we hope we'll have a peer-to-peer support team on Irish Angel. But there's one of the organisations who are a massive global company, but the first responders area is in the United States, and they literally have a map of America. They can pinpoint, if you called from a specific area, you click on the map, they have a peer-to-peer or a counselor within that area. You can be onto them in
Wow.
seconds. So it's fantastic. It's genuinely, it's exactly what's needed. Because like I said, there's a very short window
Yep.
of somebody reaching out to somebody cracking, right? So
Yep.
you have to act on that. So thankfully we've partnered, like I said, with some pretty amazing places that I can literally pick up the phone and say, I have someone for you. You know, or there's the resource. You need to reach out to these guys,
Mm.
because they can get them the help straight away. Even for
It,
that interim, just to talk with the peer-to-peer support till they get them sent to wherever they need to go for their treatment.
when you're in crisis like that and your brain is just, you don't know what to do, it's just that change of thought. If you get a phone call from somebody and you change your thought for that 1 second,
Mm.
that's what you need to do, just in order for somebody to get there, to get in front of you, and then work you through it. But that's what the key is just get that check, that, because I did a show on EMDR about a month and a half ago, and
Yeah.
understanding this different sides of the brain, and how we can utilize that and turn those on and off, and to help us if we get into crisis. But those things are now coming out. Those things are now starting to become uh, uh, things that are being discussed even within departments. So I just joined the Maine Chiefs of Police Association, and I'm the vice president of the Maine Police Emerald Society, and I'm a past president of the Maine Association of Police Retirees. So I have a lot of access to cops and retirees, and this was great because I'm going to be able to present this to them, say, hey, here's Amanda, this is Irish Angel, you guys need to tap into these resources, and then it moves on from there. So that's what we need to build, and that's what you're doing. You're building a a huge team that's going to be able to work together eventually for
Yeah.
that common goal. So
That's what it's all about. It's funny. I never realized just how throat cut the nonprofit industry is. I guess I went in eyes wide shut, right? Because to me, if it's a nonprofit, it's like everybody is in it for the right reason. They want to help people and what have you. But it's not. And it's sad that it's not, because realistically, there is so much good nonprofits out there that if we all have the one mission in mind, we should all be working collectively. I know we all have to keep the lights on and everything else, and that you do have to take in funding. But realistically, we're in it for the right reason. We should be all able to work together to serve that objective, right? To make sure that those in crisis get the help they need.
right.
It's so important.
Yep.
And many voices are better than one. As far as I'm concerned, that's how it is.
Yep.
Um, and it's finding those good partners that you can partner with, that all have the same objective as you and have their heart in the right place, that actually physically want to be able to help. The one thing about Irish Angel is I never just wanted it to be, a raise awareness kind of a thing. Everybody knows PTS is there. Everybody knows addiction is there, and
Right.
suicide is there, right? But and there's nothing wrong with people who raise awareness, just for the record. But I wanted to be boots on the ground and be able to physically help.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that, one, our conferences, please God, now we've one going off in September next year, and hopefully one in Texas as well. So one in Boston, one in Texas. But Texas we're just opening our chapter there, so we're
That's
just
great.
together. But um, educating from the top down, and then also being able to raise the funds in order to that when I've spoke with so many resources, right? So many healthcare in the healthcare industry, and this main consensus across the board is that if somebody is in crisis, they're not thinking straight, so they're not paying their bills. They're in financial difficulty. A lot of the time, they'll send them to resources that's out of state. And a lot of them, this is another obstacle for people reaching out, is because they can't afford to go to get the help they
Right.
need, right?
Right.
So that's where Irish Angel will step in. So these organizations can reach out to us for grants and be able to fund, pay for the airlines. Irish Angel will be able to pay for their airline ticket to make sure that they go and get the help they need. We want to give everybody a fighting chance of living a good and fulfilled life as much as possible. They deserve it. I mean, they put their lives on the line for us. It's only right that we should protect our protectors, as far as I'm concerned.
I think that's why we get along. We're both actionable people. We have to have action. We can't just sit there and say, "Hey, you
No,
should do this, you should do that." I'm going to put the boots on. I'm going to get out there and do it, and I'm going to show you how it's done, and then you're going to take over and do it with me. And
exactly.
so that's the kind of people we are. We could, and you're right. There's nothing against awareness. I think awareness is amazing, but you got to take that awareness and then you got to have an
Well,
action plan with it.
yeah, you do. You do. And the funny thing is, like, it's been extremely difficult for Irish Angel for the last 2 years, as it has for everybody, right? But I mean, one, me being over here. So we had the travel ban here. So I literally just got exemption in October to fly
Right.
over there, right? But the whole thing about it is, you know, we literally got our 501 in December 2019. And we were hitting the ground running with our event in Boston it was going to be March 2020. So we were going home for 3 weeks before that COVID hit, and we got shut down. And then Black Lives Matter happened, Antifa happened, so it meant that, and then all the sports companies, they didn't
Right.
want to get involved, or they started getting involved, which meant that we were having to restructure how we thought about raising funds, and we were doing it online. We were going to do auctions for sports memorabilia and all this kind of thing. We could no longer do that because cops and their supporters wouldn't bid on anything from the NFL or from, whoever,
Right.
because they didn't support them at a time when they needed it. So
Yeah.
that would literally just went up into the air. And next of all, you're just sitting dormant. There's nothing you can do. You basically have to hold on for dear life and pray to good God that the tides turn. And that, you put then all the planning behind obviously the new website, opening chapters and making the right connections and all. That's all been going on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
We've been keeping ourselves afloat by posting news stories and all this kind of thing, just to, keep ourselves out there so that people still knew we were still there for them.
Right.
But right now, we are waiting on January 1st for everything to start kicking off for next year, and putting our we're working on amazing programs with other companies as well. So I can't talk too much about it, but it's really going to help people. It's going to help an awful lot of people. So there's so much going on in the background of Irish Angel, and I have managed to build me a little army of our advisory board is extensive, and I mean extensive, with knowledge and experience, and the same with the board. And they are all hands on deck now for the new year, and pulling this and do it, because everyone that's on it is on it for the right reason and wanting
Right.
to help, physically help, so expect good things, please God, next year for Irish Angel. So
Well, I think you're right, and I think, we look at it. I look at the pandemic in the last 2 years. It was horrible. It's been horrible. It's been horrible on you. It's been horrible on the world. But it, what you're doing is a marathon. People keep telling me, Michael, what you're doing is a marathon. I just got to remember, it's a marathon and not a sprint. And what you've done is that this pandemic has allowed you possibly some time to reestablish, maybe make it stronger, maybe make it more. Maybe your vision got larger, and even changed directions at some point. So the pandemic did that to me. I went from a consulting company to a manufacturing company, literally because of Antifa, because of BLM, because of what I saw, what they were doing to police officers, and attacking them, with the cops having no alternative for uses of force, being able to escape. I saw what Antifa and BLM was doing to regular, normal citizens. So the pandemic, and God really used me in a different way. You say, okay, you can't teach anymore, so you're going to build this system. And that's where we came up with it. So I look at the pandemic, although I wished it never happened. But I can see now and say, if it didn't happen, I would have never invented this system.
yeah,
And I would have never, probably, we would never be having this conversation, Amanda.
yeah, sorry.
So I'm blessed. It saddens me that people had to die, but I am here, and maybe it's just because we're action people. Maybe we just don't let things happen to us, and we just have to improvise and overcome, like
Yeah,
my dad, the old Marine, used to say. And
the statement is overtime.
adapt, improvise, and overcome. Right.
Yeah, I say that all the time. The motto to my life at this stage.
It's good advice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's something I use it all the time, because it is something. The pandemic in particular is, like you say, it's been giving us obstacle after obstacle, and throwing punches at us left, right, and center. And the question is, and it stands to you and I and everybody else who hung in there, is like, how many times do you get knocked down? But it doesn't matter how many times. It's how many times you decide to get back up and keep going. You
Right.
know, even when you've lost all hope. Like, there's days where I would wake up and I think, what am I doing? Like this, there's nothing I can do. Like, I'm here, I'm stuck here. And then you let it all, like, you let the pandemic get in on you, let it, all the negativity. Like I said, we're all human and everybody does feel, but you're only one sleep away from a good thought, or a good mindset. And that completely changes your thought process.
Yeah.
And then there may be obstacles, but you beat your way through them obstacles. There's always a way around it. You've got to just, like you said, improvise, adapt, and overcome the situation, right?
Mhm.
That's what you have to do. And that's what I've been doing for the last, like, 2 years. And I'm just happy now that we're in a good place going forward, and that we can do a lot of good work collectively, like with everybody, because
Right.
everybody has been phenomenal. That's
Right.
jumped on board and believed in Irish Angel's mission and believed in me. I'm actually blown away from it by it, I should say. Especially after being in the States. I was there for like 5 weeks, and the time that I was there, getting around to all of the different states, and
Mm.
meeting with the influential people in these organizations and having those meetings and realizing they believe in me just as much as I believe in them.
Right.
And if I think if you have that support system, that belief and that support, you'll do good things, as long as your heart's in the right place and you're doing it for the right reason, then you can achieve amazing things. You just got to
Absolutely.
keep grinding. You got to keep grinding. Don't lose the faith.
You can't lose the faith, because there's, part of what freedom from fear is that, your faith, hope, inspiration, motivation. You got to have faith, because faith really gives you that hope.
Yeah,
If you have faith in something, then you have hope. And then if you have hope, hope turns into inspiration, right? You're inspired to do something. And then if you're inspired to do something, you get motivated to do that. So
yeah,
it all starts with faith. And if you don't have faith, you don't have anything. um and a lot of part of this show is just, you got to have faith in me personally, it's God, but you got to have faith in that it's going to get better, because
yeah.
it does. And but you can't quit. Like you said, you just can't quit, because
No,
you will 1,100% for sure fail if you quit. There's just
yeah.
no going around that. So um I'm a type of guy, I don't like failing. I don't like I don't.
I think
I just don't like it. I mean, people say, well, that's kind of arrogant. Well, it's not arrogant. Why would I want to do something if I'm not going to be the best at it? I mean, why
yeah.
would you want to be second at something? I just never understood that.
Yeah, but you know what? You sometimes you just can't do it alone, though.
No, you
That's
can't do it
You
alone.
can't. But like I said, if you have, and it's the same for reaching out for help. If you have that support network around you, utilize it. Make the most of it, um, and make the good connections
Yep.
because, without them, you can't. They prop you up. You drive it forward. They prop you up. But there's no I in team. Like so,
No.
everybody who gets involved, you have to make sure that you have the best relationship you can have with them because they're as valuable to me as what I am to them, right? That's all about good partnerships, and it's a survival mechanism as well because when you are having a crappy day, or
Mm,
I know I can reach out to one of the guys and they'll be like, Amanda, listen, it's okay to not have to have a rubbish day, and just
yep.
tomorrow's going to be a better day, and it happens to everybody. Nobody is exempt from feeling that way,
No.
but like you said, I don't like losing either. So I'm a stubborn. It's the Irish in me. I'm as stubborn as a mule. So I'll keep going. I'll keep going till I get what I want, and what I want is to be able to help people.
Yeah,
And
and that the same thing with here. We've had two English bulldogs, and they fit us personally. They're just
yeah,
stubborn. They're tenacious. They're loving. They're loyal. Um, and that's me. I am. It's that, that we are our dog, maybe.
it's true though. Mine's a big dope. What that doesn't say a lot to me, does it?
No, you're full of love. That's it. That's just all love right there.
So funny.
Oh shoot, that's funny. So today is the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice. Um, and there's an event that is happening which started a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
and you
last
want to
year.
talk about this a little bit because this is brand new to me. I never heard about it. I'm going to play something right now, and then maybe you can explain it in a minute. So let me just.
At 16:15 hours today, the shortest day of the year, in remembrance of all police officers whose lives were cut short due to suicide, PTSD, and related behavioral health issues, we observe 1 minute of silence. Concludes our 1 minute of silence in remembrance of those we have lost. Thank you. WQCC 506 clear.
Amanda, you just heard that radio dispatch. That it takes place today at 3 o'clock. You want to explain what that is?
Yeah, we have a live stream show. A friend of mine, um, John Mullet, he is a former cop and he's been through PTS and his struggle, so he understands this firsthand. Now he has a for-profit business, but however, his business is surrounding mental health and programs that they put in place and what have you. So last year he came up with this idea to honor those who took their lives through suicide, and to honor the families, because Christmas is it's a dark time for anybody who's lost a loved one.
Really is.
Yeah. And I think we've all been affected, maybe not through suicide, but, in some way of a loss. And we know what that's like. But to lose somebody through suicide I think it's a different, there's so many questions surrounding it. There's guilt surrounding it, because we always question ourselves. Is there something that we could have done more? Could we have helped more? Right. So I think what he did last year was phenomenal. He created what's called Twilight. And it is a memorial where anybody can go on who supports the service, whether it's someone within the services, whether it is somebody who is just a supporter or a family member who's lost a loved one, can go on and give their greetings to the families and their message of support to those, who are suffering, and also to honor those who have passed through suicide. And it runs for the whole day. But at 4:15, there will be a minute silence. And eventually we'd love that to happen throughout the whole of the country, where at 4:15, it's recognised within police departments, it's recognised within businesses and everything else, because they may have lost their lives through suicide. It doesn't mean that they were any less of a person than somebody who lost their lives on the job.
Absolutely.
The experiences, the torment that they experience, a lot of the time is triggered by the job. So in many ways, it still is an online duty death. They've experienced what they've experienced through the job. So that's what Twilight is. Irish Angel is playing a big part in it this year. We have a video from the majority of our advisory board, our board, going on and doing their pieces, and there's a couple of them now. Two of our board advisors are they've lost family members and loved ones through suicide, and their story is just there's not a dry eye. That's all I can say. But the love and support that they have for those, they've now turned it into helping as well. So the love and support they have for the families right now at Christmas time, I mean, what their stories can only resonate with them, and they know exactly what they're going through. So that's what I mean about the people who partner with Irish Angel. They've experienced it in some way, shape, or form, and we have the experience behind that, so that when somebody does reach out or somebody listens to us, they know that we're coming from a good place, that it's something that's felt in here. So that the video will be going live later on today, and I'll be doing a live with John Mullet from Mission First Partners. Yeah, sorry, my brain is on overdrive.
I'll put it down here. Mission First Partners.
Yeah, so I'll be doing the live with them and getting that message out there. It's so important, like it really is. We do Memorial Week for all of the officers who are fallen during the month of May, but we cannot forget the people who's passed through suicide.
Absolutely not, because that's, most of those are, like you said, are caused by what they saw on the job, what they had to go through on the job. So that's an on-duty death, if you ask me. That's an on-duty injury. So
yeah, yes,
hopefully we can get legislation towards that. I mean, obviously that's the goal, right? Is to push.
Yeah, that is the goal. That is the goal. We'll be going up and doing a bit of lobbying and stuff, I think.
But it takes money, doesn't it? It takes money to fight these people, and
it really does. It does, but it's something that needs to be addressed.
Right.
It's not to say that all PTS or suicides is 100% through the job. It's not. It can be something that's even triggered from when they were younger. It's just something on the job that has triggered that emotion.
But let's consider it. Let's consider it.
Yeah.
Right. Let's look at it.
We have to look at it. You have to look at what's going on, because even if it was something that happened years ago, it might be something on the job that's triggered that emotion, that's brought it to the surface again. And a lot of the time, this from being a cop and in the military, what you see, yes, you might, you'll think about it, you'll decompartmentalize it and you'll just, you block it away. And it's just that happens with incident after incident after incident. So it is like that onion effect. It's like you peel off. There's a lot of layers to get through to find out exactly what's going on. But it has to be recognized that, it does happen through the job. So yeah.
Well, I was listening and I heard this statistic, and I think it was Dr. Trevor Wilkins, the Angry Viking. He said that cops will see in an average 20-year career will see over 700 traumatic scenes, traumatic events, whereas a normal citizen will only see 1 to 2 for their whole life.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's an onion. It's a continuation of trauma over trauma over trauma for a period of time, and that has to be acknowledged. I mean, we have to start looking at that. So you're right. This awareness is good, but you're doing something about it. You're getting something done. So that's good stuff. We're almost done. I can't believe it's almost been an hour. So so let's get together. Let's figure out, was that 4:15?
4:15 Eastern time.
Eastern time. So
as 3 p.m. The 3 p.m. is when the live starts on YouTube. So, but the 4:15 is when the moment silence is.
Okay.
So it's when darkness falls in the States.
I will be watching at 3:00 and all the way through. So, any last thing? So I do want to tell my audience that you are on Instagram, you are on Facebook, you are on LinkedIn. You can find you anywhere. So
TikTok,
all of them. The TikTok, I've never done the TikTok. So
I'm only getting into TikTok now. I'm believe it or not, I'm extremely camera shy. Well, I know
I don't believe that.
But I think, oh God, TikTok is amazing for officers and first responders and veterans. The communities on there and the support on there for law enforcement is massive. Like, I can't even tell you. It's huge.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Gosh, do I dare download another app? I don't dare.
You should. You'll get addicted though.
I don't need another addiction.
Oh my God. It's great. Like, if you're an actual fact, one of our board members, Scott Mignus, he's a former assistant chief. He was going through his own PTS, and he tells a story on Irish Angel as well. So you'll see that. But he started on TikTok just after he retired, and he's now become an influencer on TikTok, and he is phenomenal. What he does every day, and this is how I actually met him, it was through TikTok. I've seen him all the time, and I was watching his posts, and he lifts and loves on everybody every day. And it helped him with his stress management and how he can now educate people and pass things on to them too. And I reached out to him when I was in the United States. Actually, I never reached out to him before because I know he's a big following, and you know yourself, you see a blonde girl and she's talking to a police officer, and the whole badge bunny thing. I'm like, no, I'm not one of them. Right, I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them, just so you know. And that's what
badge bunny. That's good.
That was my opening comment to him. I'm not a badge bunny, but
that's excellent.
So we got to talking, and it's just what he does. It's like it's helped him. You will see so much positivity on there. People lifting each other up. Now you see a lot of the negative stuff too, but the good stuff far outweighs the bad. And just people lifting and loving on each other. And I think it's a great tool. If it's utilized properly, it is a fantastic tool for confidence and for just getting yourself in a positive place. And if you're feeling down, jump on. There'll be something funny on there to see. You'll laugh. So it's all good. It's good.
I will try it. I really will.
You need to let me know when you're on.
I will. I will probably download it tonight.
You can do lives on it too.
Who?
You can do lives on it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll figure it out. I just heard it was really kind of I heard bad things about it, and I just didn't want to jump into that type.
No, there is obviously, like, you'll hear, what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Plus, that's why I was actually shocked to see the amount of officers and veterans and everything on there, because you know, we all think the same.
Right.
Think the same, right? So I was like you. I was like, oh, should I download this? Shouldn't I? And I ended up doing it, and I was blown away by the amount of them on there. And when they talked about shutting it down, officers were actually distraught because it was a great way of breaking down the barriers between the communities and policing. Right? It was showing the human side of law enforcement. So yeah, it was great.
Well, that's cool. Well, you know what? Maybe this old guy can change, and so
You'll
you're
be famous in no time.
I probably will, and I'll have to get rid of the other ones. I know people are saying you got to get on LinkedIn and you got to do more work on LinkedIn if you want to do
LinkedIn is
this. And I'm like,
fantastic.
so many social media sites.
Yeah, but LinkedIn, I think for what would you call it, for the serious end of your job.
Yeah.
Although mine's not too serious, I do the daily pinups every day, which
Yeah.
again, can I just say on the show, just for people to know this, people say to me, now it's very rare this happens to me, but some people, you'll get a negative comment. They're like, oh, you're exploiting women, you la 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 la. I'm like, mother of divine God. It's not anything sexual or anything like that. Trust me. What it is the tip to the World War era, right? The World War II era.
Right.
With all of the pinup girls.
The pinup girls, right.
They were on all the planes.
Right.
Back in World War II, and it gave hope to veterans.
There you go.
It reminded them of what they had to come home to. So you know, there's no malice in it. It's genuine. If you look at the comments, the post that accompanies it, it's lifting and loving on people every day, and it's nothing sordid.
It's not at all. In fact, we look forward to your throat punch Thursdays, which are excellent. That's Connie's favorite too.
She's great.
She's like, it's throat punch Thursday. She's ready to throat punch somebody. That was when she was working at the credit union. She's no longer there, so now I'm the boss. So she's not throat punching me.
That's probably she'll be throat punching you, not you punching her.
No. She will.
She'll punch you with kisses.
She's a tough one. No, she is. I mean, you know how size she is, but all she has to do is smile, and I'm like, oh.
She is. She's a great girl. She's so positive.
She really is. She's a darling. I'm the luckiest man alive. There's no doubt about it. So
I can't wait to get over and see you guys again now.
Well, you're coming out and you're coming to Boston in the spring.
I am.
So we only live an hour and a half north of Boston. So we'll get together for dinner and have some. Do you like lobster?
I don't. I'm not. I've never tried it.
Well, that's okay. I don't like lobster. I mean, if most people come to Maine, they said I got to have Maine lobster. I'm like,
yeah, right. But no, fish. Oh my God, I can't do. I just can't do fish. It's the smell.
Oh, so you're gonna love Texas. You're a beef girl, huh?
I'm a beef girl. I had the best beef brisket in Texas in a place called the Honor Cafe, an amazing place in Houston that honors all the veterans.
Oh, really?
It's amazing. But the food was absolutely to die for.
Oh boy.
Best brisket ever.
Oh boy. If you ever get out and about when you're out there, there's a barbecue place called Mission Barbecue. And they honor all local, every store, every barbecue that they have, they honor their local law enforcement, first responders, firemen, everything. And they're super cool. They got great barbecue, and the veterans, they got a 911 wall on every single one of them on 9/11. And yeah, it's a cool barbecue.
Brilliant.
So, all right, my lady, I have to wrap this up, and looking forward to the rest of the day. I'm looking forward to 2022 to seeing what Irish Angel is going to do.
And working with yourself.
And I have to give myself a little plug here. I'm so grateful for you for asking me to be part of your website and talk about wellness and how we stay in shape and really keeping those four legs of the stool all working evenly. You know, the spirit, the mental health, the physical health, and emotional health. We have to work on all of them. Yeah. And then you can get trophies like this. Where am I? There we go.
Look at you. Looking over that picture you posted, I was like, oh my God, look at him. You look amazing.
And then this is
You're like a watchboard.
This is the first responder, first prize, first place.
Awesome. That's awesome.
And so I'm super psyched. I'm going to go for Mr. Maine in April. So
You got this. You got
yeah, well, we'll
Listen,
see.
this.
But it's fun. I'm so happy that we got together. I want to share wellness with people. I'm really, officer safety is one thing on the street, but officer safety is internal as well. And we got to work on that. So Amanda, any last words before we have to go?
Nothing other than I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas. And you
Merry
all stay
Christmas.
safe and blessed for the whole of the holidays. And if you can, go out and do something good, an act of kindness to help somebody, because it'll make you feel better just as much as it helps them.
Perfectly said. We'll leave it at that. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Stay right there. Hey, welcome back. And wasn't that amazing? Thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda. That was just a fantastic interview. Got to learn a lot about Blue Irish Angel and how you are, and not just you, but your whole organization, how it's evolved and where it's going in 2022. Really excited about working with you as well. So everybody get a chance, get out there, take a look at Irish Angel, and also go to my website, f3defense.com. Take a look at some of the life-changing systems that I created over the past year, and trying at the same time helping our police officers stay safe. We invented this system to be utilized by not only police officers but by people on the street who are less safe now than they've ever been in the United States. And so we need to be able to protect them by giving them the only non-lethal, less than lethal use of force available. So my pepper spray deployment systems, mobile pepper spray deployment system. I have one for the overhead deployment system that could be used in front of a storefront. So all of these systems are available soon. Let's just put it that way. We have three mobile units that are available now. $5 for every unit goes to the Wounded Blue, and $5 for every unit that I sell goes to the Travis Mills Foundation. The Wounded Blue is go to thewoundedblue.org and take a look at their website, and donate, and make sure that you check out and go to thewoundedblue.org and the Travis Mills Foundation retreat up in Western Maine that is there for veterans who have lost limbs, and now they're taking veterans who have had traumatic brain injuries. So they're there to recalibrate, and so Travis has done a great job up there at Travis Mills Foundation for recalibrated veterans, and the Wounded Blue. Um, more officers will die from suicide than by an actually violence on the job. So make sure that you take a look at the Wounded Blue, and we all working together, Wounded Blue and Blue Irish Angel, F3 Defense. We're all working together to make sure that our brothers and sisters don't continue to have to suffer alone. We get in there and try to help and work through some of these issues. So have a great Christmas. I'll see you after Christmas. I'm not going to take a break, so I'll see you just before the new year. And just remember how blessed we are. And I just want to say a prayer for all those officers and first responders and our military who are out there. Lord, please just watch over them and protect them and keep them safe. Cover and protect their loved ones as many of them won't be able to come home for Christmas. And so let this be a Christmas that they are able to feel joy and feel love at some point. So, and to also just to remember that, Christmas is about the birth of Jesus, and that joy should be shared. So Merry Christmas to all of you. And until next week, stay safe. God bless. Oh yeah. Freedom from fear.